I talked about the question of like when to put your smartphone away and when to take it out, and many people are kind of addicted to like look at the smartphone whenever something happens. And my good friend Dandapani was here. He's a monk and a Buddhist monk, and he shared his view on technology and why technology to him is a tool. Some people ask like, how do you do it? Like, how do you put your smartphone away? Because that's what he said, like put your smartphone away when you're with another person. And the way I do it is what we call the 2 times call in a row rule. And I talked about it in different videos, but I want to do a focus video on that one because it can like release a lot of stress. So it works like that. A person calls me once and I see that and I either decline it or I don't answer the phone. So calling one time means I pick it up whenever it's good for me, not for the person, just for me. If you call a second time right after that, I know, okay, shit, that's an emergency, and then I pick it up. So this is how this rule works, and it's awesome for not only remote companies, but for any company where you have the feeling you need more space to like get your stuff done, because you're not dragged into the other person's priorities. And sometimes people think it's an emergency and that they do that and they use this rule, and then I politely explain if that was an emergency in my perspective. So learning is fine, but an emergency is definitely if there is like, let's say we're in front of an appointment and that's cancelled, or someone is injured, definitely always an emergency, and people use that for that as well. We had that the other week with a workshop when one of our managing directors was so sick he couldn't make it. So he called me 2 times in a row and I knew something bad was happening, and like we had to reorganize everything, and we were able to do that the next day. Loss of data, anything that you need that person for right now. It's not for, oh, I have an emergency because something happened and I actually know how to solve it and I call that person right now. You would do that with a normal phone call, but you would like get started on the solution and then call. So an emergency is definitely you need that person right now. But how do you see it? Well, if I have a meeting, I usually have my phone away and I have it like front down so I cannot see it. But whenever I know there could be something, I like quickly take a look, for example, when we do a break or in between, and you see the phone calls on the display always, and you see that there are 2 phone calls. But I don't need to open my phone like this and check messages, for example. So whenever I would do that, I would be dragged into my phone. That's how these things are built. The only thing I check is quickly on the screen, is there 2 phone calls in a row? And when there are 2 phone calls, I know that's an emergency and I'm doing a very polite break. But all the rest of my phone, as you can see here, is like black screen. There were not too many apps on. I like made a video on my phone last year, but I wanted to like get all the noise away. And I even want to get rid of this one, because what I do is I just type search and then whatever is my last app that I use is here. So I try to stay away from that and just to focus on the front screen. That's how we use the 2 times call in a row. And everyone can do that with us, and we also talk about that to clients. So they know that rule. So I have my phone on vacation with me and I tell them I'm on vacation right now. If it's an emergency, call me 2 times in a row. I have that in my email signature, do that 2 times in a row. And that's how I do that. And then I can put my phone away and I can give undivided attention to whoever is with me, and without any stress. Does it make sense? I hope that's helpful, and share that if that's helpful, and subscribe below, and I see you guys next week.